Everybody, happy Friday. Welcome to our daily dose of Success God's Way. This is Erin Harrigan, your Hustle with Heart and Health coach, helping entrepreneurs align results to God's truth and helping everyone attain lifelong results for total health with Arvon. It is a beautiful but cold Friday here in Chesapeake Beach, and I'm really excited about some things that I've been journaling on this morning in my time with the Lord. And I think as God-centered entrepreneurs, we often sort of struggle with, are these small steps I'm taking even making a difference? Because I think that as the world defines success, while we know there are plenty of stories where people were not overnight successes, it took years and years and years of work and effort. But I think we often think that it takes big leaps, or that perhaps we think that God only blesses big leaps, when the truth is, we should not despise small steps, and there is power in the small. So this morning as I was journaling, I was thinking back over my last few days feeling super cloudy, which, by the way, today is day 5 of my Arbonne 30 detox, and I can tell you that I have much more clarity, so I feel the fog lifting. But I was sort of thinking about this struggle of the small steps that I've taken in obedience to the Lord, and then how he has exponentially multiplied those steps for his glory and for my good. And looking at where I would have been had I not taken those small steps, and really, honestly, had I not accepted Christ and fully submitted and surrendered my life, which includes my business, and the lessons learned and the beauty of what has come out of that. One of the number one things being my husband accepting Christ. So that in itself is more than enough, right? But I was thinking about this idea of small steps, and I want to take us to the scripture today is Zechariah 4:10. Now, if you don't know the story of Zechariah, this is in the time where the Jews returned from their exile in Babylon, and they're starting to rebuild the temple. And in the book of Zechariah, he really seeks to challenge and encourage them in that building, and really and help them see that their obedience always brings blessing. When we submit in willing obedience, that God will bless that. Now, we've always talked about that it may not look the way that we think it should look, but that he will bless it in a way that most brings him glory, that is good for us, and that most certainly is good for the people around us, so that we can impact his kingdom. But in Zechariah 4:10, this is what it says. And as always, I want to give you this disclaimer. When I give you a scripture, please read the whole context that it's in. I never want to sort of pluck it out and just lay it out there as the be-all, end-all. While the word is the be-all, end-all, let's understand that we need to read what's around it. So in 4:10, it says, "Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin, to see the plumb line in Zerubbabel's hand." And here's what Dr. Charles Stanley says about this. To Judah's enemies, to Israel's enemies, the rebuilding of this temple seemed completely unnecessary. But to those who had seen the house of the Lord, the temple in its former glory before it was destroyed, this new building seemed so small. Like, it was so much smaller, and it seemed inconsequential compared to what the temple was before. But God had promised through Haggai, and this is Haggai 2:9, that the glory of this latter temple shall be greater than the former. And so here's the point, is that when we are obedient, that whatever small steps we take, he will infinitely multiply. And that while we may think these are small steps and they're not getting us anywhere, and we're not seeing the results, and I'm not seeing the outcome, and it's not moving fast enough, God is always out working ahead of us. He doesn't just show up in the moment. He's already there. He's already ahead of us, and he's always right beside us. So he desires to work through us in awesome ways, and we should never despise these tasks that seem so minor. Maybe you made one call yesterday and you think, All I had time to do was make one. But you don't know the ripple effect that is going to take, particularly if you've walked in the obedience to the Lord, and that's the work that he gave you to do. Dr. Stanley finishes up saying, the Lord knows the priceless value of a willing heart and a surrendered life. So there will be times that we do not understand how he can work through us, especially in the smallest things. But he always does in amazing ways when we obey him. You guys, as God-centered entrepreneurs, that is our number one job, is to walk in obedience to him so that we can reflect Christ's light, to take the small steps that God has given us, and that draws others to us. Yes, there will be success, and yes, there will be outcomes, but let us not despise these small steps and the power of small. I would love to hear how this resonates with you. Get down below and let me know. And if you're shy about posting it here on the news feed, then get on over to Success God's Way and share with us there. It is Faith Friday. I'm going to be asking people what they want us to pray over for this week. So I'd love to have you over there. Please be sure that you subscribe at erinharrigan.com so you can stay updated on the blog and the podcast. A new podcast episode is launching tomorrow. And as always, if I can support you in this journey of pursuing success God's way, and how do I hustle with heart, bridge faith and business, I'd love to talk to you about coaching. Or maybe it's your health journey and you just need the mental clarity and the well-being and the overall health to move forward in what God has called you to do. I'd love to chat with you about Arbonne 30. And with that, I wish you guys a fantastic Friday, and I will see you Monday on our Daily Dose. See ya.